This is the Horror Movie Show on hmpod.com, your one-stop shop for all things horrific and horror-related. Read the reviews, frolic in the forum, hem and haw over the horoscopes, and listen mightily to the Horror Movie Show with Mark and Jerry, your horrible hosts.
Howdy-do, folks. Jerry here.
And Mark.
And we are bringing you another episode of the Horror Movie Show on hmpod.com. Also on Facebook. Look for the Horror Movie Show. And we should be back on iTunes now.
Yeah.
Darned iTunes.
Well, you never know if it's them or us.
That's right. It is, but it's always them and us.
That's
them
all there
versus
is.
Us.
Yes. I mean, I'm not a fan of iTunes. I don't think
I don't use it much.
Our ecosystem should be forced down your throat like that.
Yeah, no, I don't use it much myself. The amazing Trixie gets those free songs and apps and stuff out of Starbucks.
Oh, yeah. So she drinks a lot of coffee, does she?
She picks up the occasional coffee and the occasional gift, and they're free,
yeah.
And they should be.
Are the songs dead? You know, do they tell you what songs you can have?
Oh, yeah.
So
it's
you
a
can't
specific. It's a tie-in with some record company, right?
Oh, God.
Like
well, then who
specific
cares?
song.
I mean, it might be a song you hate.
I know. She's found a few she likes. If she likes it, then she'll download the album, whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm. But it might work in a zombie kind of way.
Yeah, in a zombie Apple world. Yeah. A dried Apple world. Anyway, I'm mad at the amazing Trixie right now because I was supposed to get another piece of coconut cake and she ate almost the entire thing. Hey, what do I have to do? Hide food? Hide food around the house that I want to have later?
Oh, if you want a little fridge that you can put next to your bed.
That's right, Janet's going to
your sister says she'll give you her fridge.
Yeah, I don't know if Teresa's already asked for that for her furbished garage.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's my home life. Dog's doing all right.
I have no home life.
No home life, yeah. Yeah, and I'll tell you, though, this is a good dumpster. It's roomy, and I don't think there's too much echo with the lid up.
Yeah, and it's the traffic you have to keep out when you're recording.
Yeah, and that once a week when they pick you up and shake your house into the garbage.
That's right, and I'm right underneath an airport, so it's like there's a runway that goes right over top.
Oh, you never know what they're going to throw in.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of mob hits out in this neighborhood.
Well, I get a few bodies chucked in once in a while.
Yeah. That's great.
They make good company until they start smelling.
That's right. The whole bodies you don't mind so much. It's when they've chopped them up.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
And we have a few movies like that.
Yeah, we got a lot of nasty movies coming up. We're going to start this week with Riddick, brand new movie for just about everybody. It's not subtitled as like nothing. It's just Riddick. Riddick. So from the commercials, from the TV ads, I thought that he was going back to the world that they landed on in Pitch Black.
Right.
Where we first met Riddick.
Well, it sure seemed that way.
It really looked that way, didn't it? But in fact, it's just another world with horrible creatures on it that... They're sort of like giant scorpions, and they look sort of like the monsters from the first movie.
Yeah, but
and also, of course, when it rains, terrible things happen, like all these dried out monsters.
They seem to be hibernating underneath the soil and
waiting for the rainy season.
Yeah, billions of them waiting to jump out at you.
Yeah, which is very, very similar to the critters in Pitch Black.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't come out while there was light. They waited until there was a total double eclipse,
which happened every 40 years.
Yeah, it was a long time.
They happened to be there on the day.
Yeah.
It's like, what are the chances?
Yeah. Well, they knew something bad had happened because there was a mining station that was completely abandoned and people hadn't left.
No.
They just vanished.
And you could see, and it was all torn apart, most of the station. Now
Riddick starts with him on this horrible alien world, and he got there following on the end of Chronicles of Riddick, where he had become the king of the Necromongers.
Yeah.
He, after a while being king, you just like, I'm bored with this. I want to go back to Furia. So he got a Necromonger ship and a Necromonger crew, and they were going to take him back to Furia, but in fact it was a double cross, and they just wanted to kill him. And of course, the guy who wanted him dead, Karl Urban's character Vaco, he was a big part of the second movie, Chronicles of Riddick, and he makes a small appearance in
like 10-second appearance.
Yeah, well, 30 seconds maybe. They have a little angry conversation.
Star billing. He gets star billing. He's in this movie.
I didn't see star billing.
Well, anyway, he's on the IMDb and all that stuff. Right in there, and I'm going, geez, he was in there for all of half a minute.
But it's because Karl Urban is a big noise right now with the Star Trek movies.
Yeah.
And also, he was very, very good in Dredd.
Yes.
He was terrific. So he may have moved up.
Even though you never see his face.
A-list. And rightfully so.
You get to see his jaw.
Rightfully so. They would have ruined Dredd if he had taken his mask off, like Stallone, who's got too big an ego. Karl Urban, obviously, is more of a professional.
Or they wouldn't let him.
Well, that was part of the deal, but it did. It made it a better Dredd. Anyway, so back to Riddick. Overall, I don't want to give anything away because it's a brand new movie.
I'm going to give it all away.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was terrific fun.
I have two thoughts on that. I enjoyed it as itself, but I was disappointed in that it didn't continue the story of the second movie.
No, it ended it right away.
Yeah, it was just like, whoomp.
Yeah.
It's none of that
I'm
matters
done with the Necromongers,
Yeah.
and he's out of there.
And I was expecting big things. Now, this movie is a very low-budget movie considering...
Really?
Yeah, it was $38 million.
Good Lord.
That was it.
Yeah.
And, I was expecting something huge when I figured they were going to continue on with this massive story that they started.
Right.
And instead it's like flipping back to the first movie.
Very, very much. It's him alone this time on an alien world, and there is a beacon, but the beacon is specifically set up to call in bounty hunters.
I don't know if it was specifically set up.
He said that. He said that. Yeah, specifically to call.
Why would it be there?
Because the bounty hunters put it there, and it's like you're going to die or you call us.
Call who you're going to call.
That's it. So he used it as one of the bounty hunters says later in the movie. Riddick used us as a taxi service.
Exactly.
So
and he did.
Without giving anything away. Yeah, certainly. I mean, what do you expect is going to happen? But along the way, not one but two crews of bounty hunters come down, and of course there's tension between the two of them because whatever the bounty is on Riddick, and I like this, it's double if he's dead.
Yeah.
Because they do not want to deal with him. I don't care how well chained and drugged and unconscious you've got him.
And how many...
Would you kill him before you bring him into the shop?
And how many different bounties are on him at this point?
Yeah.
Necromongers putting some on there as well?
We don't even know what the currency is that they're
dealing
measuring.
in,
but he's like the most valuable man in the universe. Galaxy, maybe.
It's interesting that the movie is very slow when it starts out because it's just him surviving on the planet.
Yeah, and he's broken up really badly because he was dropped off a cliff.
Yeah,
and one of his legs is horribly fractured.
Yeah, and it's amazing how he can recover.
Well, he's a Furian, so he's not a normal man.
This is true.
He's genetically altered from coming off another planet, and I like this future that they've come up with because they're all humans, but they've had enough time on various worlds to evolve. So this is really so far into our future. This is along the lines of the stories and novels of the great science fiction writer Cordwainer Smith, or maybe Isaac Asimov's Foundation books.
Yeah.
Because there's humans on all different worlds, but they vary a little bit. One planet
is
to
it
another.
just natural selection, or are they mutated to survive on those planets?
Well, Riddick, for example, he's a Furian to start with, which makes him extremely tough and gives him a good sense of smell or whatever. He certainly uses his nose like a dog.
And his eyes.
But his eyes were done in prison. He says that in the first movie. He says that to the kid, the boy who turns out to be a girl. He had those done. He paid to have those done in prison. So he hasn't. Those eyes aren't natural. The other Furians that we meet in the second movie don't have it.
No,
but he does. Yeah. Anyway, the one thing about this movie that bugged me is that there are a lot of nasty creatures. There's sort of hideous vulture-like birds. We see him eating one at the beginning, and then the second monsters that attack him are very, very large canine-like creatures. They're called canines. They're not dogs. They're not earth dogs.
They act like them.
But they like to play fetch.
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
And he rescues a puppy during a windstorm. He saves a puppy, and then it is, like at least 6 months later, because now the dog is full grown. Riddick is fully recovered, and the two of them are stomping around.
It's like a boy and his dog.
Yeah, well, it is. It is to a great extent. I was reminded of Will Smith and Sam in the latest version of the Omega Man. What's the original title?
The title is just a weird little title that means nothing really.
Yeah.
It's like
I Am Legion.
I Am Legion.
I Am Legion. Yeah. So it tugs at the heartstrings a little bit. Of course, it was a real dog in the Will Smith movie, so it was a little easier to get along with it. This is entirely CGI, and I must say, you compare this dog, who is a constant companion for much of at least the first half of the movie. You compare the CGI dog in this movie with Jar Jar Binks or something, and it is very realistic.
He's so good.
Yeah, but isn't it realistic? They're really getting the CGI down.
Yeah. And it's nice when they can do it in a subtle way.
Yeah.
Where it's not like, look at me, I'm a CGI.
Yeah, exactly. Which Jar Jar Binks was.
Yeah. But this is it behaves like a real animal.
Yeah.
It's not smarter than a real animal. No. So it's good. It's well done.
And Riddick treats it like a dog, like his pet. Like he is the boss of this dog, but they're in the same pack, and there's loyalty and usefulness from both of them, and playfulness as well. He allows the dog to play a little bit. It teases him, but he's not like, Sigourney Weaver at the end of the first Alien movie, where he risks his life and everybody else's life to save the dog if something bad happens.
No, it's nice.
Still mad at Ridley Scott for making Sigourney Weaver's character go back for the damn cat.
Yeah, I've never forgiven him for that. I'm sorry, the cat goes.
Yeah, cat is like easily expendable to me.
It's just,
and I like cats; they're all right, but you don't risk your life for an angry, bad-tempered pussycat.
Or a dog, for that
come
matter.
when it's called.
Yeah.
No, dog's entirely different.
Oh no.
Yeah, you sacrifice your firstborn for the dog.
Yeah, you would.
So let's see. It's directed by David Twohy, written by Twohy, Oliver Butcher, and Stephen Cornwell. Stars Vin Diesel, of course, as Dick Riddick. Well, it's not Dick; he's Richard. But
okay,
all Richards are Dicks.
Okay. It's the Dick in Riddick,
Yeah, that's right. He put the Dick in Riddick. That's right. Jordi Mola plays Santana, who is the first chief bounty hunter we meet. Matt Nable, a name I've never heard. Matt Nable plays Boss Johns, who is the boss of the second group of mercenaries, bounty hunters. And he is the father of Johns from the first movie, the guy who is bringing Riddick in, and who's a junkie and not nice at all. And I won't say anything more about that, but there's a great question hanging over Boss John's head as to what he is like, considering how awful his son was. I'm pretty much in love with Katie Sackhoff, who plays Doll. Good name for her. D-A-H-L, but pronounced Doll as in, what a doll.
Yeah. She was in Battlestar
Galactica, yeah. And, she's a big girl.
Yeah.
Big, strong.
She's tough.
Yeah.
She's tough.
And very, very good. She probably got... between her and Vin Diesel, they've got all the humorous lines.
Well, yeah, it's this sexual tension thing happening.
Well, I don't mean even between them. I mean they're just the ones that flip off these smart-ass comments.
Yeah.
Pull yourself to pieces, whatever the hell is silly.
It's all, yeah.
that goes right back to that film noir.
Yeah. This had a lot of nice moments in it, but at the same time, the bounty hunters are so two-dimensional. Mostly.
Yeah.
It reminded me of the second movie, The Bounty Hunters in the second movie.
Right.
Same thing. I mean, their attitude is like they're king crap, and
but isn't that part of the fun? Like we just now, oh good, Riddick gets to kill some bounty hunters.
But Riddick isn't as bad as he was in the first movie or the second movie, for that matter. When it comes to, he had a little more. I don't know. Humanity, yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. He wasn't as evil.
Well, he talks about that, though. He says, how did I let myself get fooled? I'm getting soft. And he says that. He says, I'm getting too human.
Yeah. But he still is, even though he says to himself, I got to get back to my animal.
Yeah.
Yet he goes back to his animal state, but at the same time not as far back as he used to be.
Well, I don't know. Even in the first movie, the only people he kills in Pitch Black are villains, and he doesn't kill anybody himself, does he? I don't think he kills a single person.
In Pitch Black.
Yeah.
Can't recall.
But he arranges so that other people will die at the hands of the monsters.
Yeah. He'll let them die.
Yeah, indeed. In fact, Johns deserves it. And but he actually trying to save, and he does. He goes back for people. He could have got away, but he doesn't.
Yeah.
So that it is a weakness, I suppose. But on the other hand, he wouldn't be an interesting character if he didn't grow.
Yeah.
He didn't change.
Oh, yeah. And the next movie, hopefully, will start continuing on.
Have they
with
said
his
there's
home.
A fourth movie?
I'm sure there will be.
Yeah,
he's on his way to his home planet, right?
Right. Well, I tell you, I wouldn't want to see any more of those Fast and Furious movies, but I'll watch the Furion movies.
Yeah.
I like those.
Yes.
All right, let's get on to our next movie, which is a stinker. It's called Jack the Giant Slayer, another movie from this year. It directed by the Lord God Bryan Singer, written by Darren Lemke, Christopher McQuarrie, and Dan Studney. Stars Nicholas Hoult as Jack, Eleanor Tomlinson as Princess Isabel. One of my favorites, Ewan McGregor as Elmont, and nice to see not just Ewan McGregor in this, but Ewan Bremner, who plays a minor villain named Wick. The two of them were Rents and Spud in Trainspotting.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they worked together several times. I always liked seeing them together. Stanley Tucci plays Roderick, the main villain of the movie. Eddie Marsan plays Craw. He's an odd-looking, sort of round-headed Englishman. The always fun to watch Ian McShane plays King Bromwell. Warwick Davis plays Oldham, and another good character actor, English, Bill Nighy plays General Fallon.
Yeah.
So great cast. It looked good.
It did.
I just thought it was a silly movie.
It was fluffy.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it.
Well, too fluffy for me. I didn't enjoy it because it was too silly.
And it had some humongous scenes in it, like warring scenes with whole battlefields and things like that.
I blame Peter Jackson and the Lord of the Rings movies, and I don't know why, but suddenly every bloody fairy tale has to get its own TV series or movie. I blame the Grimm's brothers too. Then why not? I blame everybody. But Jack and the Beanstalk, and it's just you can't make this into a serious story. It's such a silly little.
Well, it
is
a very simplistic story. Basically, one guy wants to usurp the throne, and he's doing it by trying to get to the giants and incorporate them.
Stanley Tucci character.
Yeah. He's a great evil guy.
Yeah,
I liked his character.
Little touch of the bad guy in The Princess Bride. I thought the way that Stanley Tucci acts.
Yeah,
all these guys could have fit right into The Princess Bride.
Oh, sure, sure.
I would rather have had the six-fingered man in.
But I think you're being a little too critical here. I mean, it could have been a lot more gritty, but at the same time, it's a fairy tale. Yeah. And I think for a younger audience, this would be a real fun movie.
Well, I'm not a younger audience.
No, you're not a younger audience. And
I can only say what I thought of it, and I thought it was mediocrity. I thought The only movie along these lines that I can think was worse was The Great and Powerful Oz.
Uh-huh.
That one annoyed me even more.
Yeah.
But no, I would not recommend Jack the Giant Slayer on a bet. And Bryan Singer's done some good movies. Didn't he do the first couple of X-Men movies?
Yes, he did. The Superman, the first Superman restart.
The second last one.
Yeah, the second last one.
Because they've made so many Superman movies now, it's hard to tell the difference.
And he's done others as well. I can't remember.
So hang on, he did the Superman movie that everybody hated.
Yes.
Everybody hated that one.
Yes, he was making it when they were making the third X-Men movie, so he couldn't do the third X-Men movie. But he had the Cyclops character, and I can't remember the actor who plays it. He plays a part in the Superman movie.
Right. The young guy.
He was written out of the X-Men 3 because he wanted to do Superman, and he plays a schmuck in Superman. He just plays Lois Lane's boyfriend.
That's right.
It was a know-nothing part for him, and I'm going, why would he want to sacrifice his, Cyclops, who had a great part?
Yeah. Well, they never really used... No, but they never used Cyclops, and probably the next movie came along, and yet again, he was just a second banana, so he said, well, I'd rather go with the movie that's bound to be the big hit of the year. Yeah. And of course it wasn't a big hit. I didn't dislike that version of Superman.
The problem was that it wasn't a departure. It was rather a continuation of the first four movies.
It was a weird continuation.
Yeah.
Why do a continuation? Why pretend that this guy is Christopher Reeve?
Yeah, and he looked like him and acted like him.
But Lois Lane didn't look like Margot Kidder. It was a bastard child of the financial bigwigs in Hollywood. Is what it was.
And it was like an homage to the originals, but why?
Yeah.
Why? They didn't need it. An homage.
Was it Lex Luthor's big scheme was to bring land up out of the ocean and sink?
Yeah, I watched it actually just recently, that remake. And he for some reason these crystals in the Fortress of Solitude, you throw them in water and it creates land.
Well, it starts turning the Earth into Krypton.
Yeah, something like that.
But then didn't the Lex Luthor character played by Gene Hackman have pretty much the same scheme where he was going to drop California
into the ocean?
Into the ocean, right?
Yeah, and by detonating something on the St. Andrews Fall.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something very similar to that. It was a big land grab for this guy. He was buying land inland, so that when this big Atlantis kind of continent happens, it'll raise the water levels, and then all of his land would be on the coast
surface. And it was such hospitable land too, all spikes and evil-looking black rock.
And he mixed it with kryptonite, so it was detrimental to Superman. But at the same time, in the comic lore, kryptonite over lengthy exposure will actually, it's like radiation. It's not good for humans either.
Oh, okay.
But, I don't know if they ever bring that into the movies.
Well, if they're going from the classic Superman, that wasn't true. That wasn't brought up. Kryptonite was perfectly harmless to humans, so, whatever.
Well, they didn't know until Lex made a ring out of it, and then he became radiated.
Oh, there you go. Was that on the TV series?
No, the comic.
Comics, okay, whatever. Anyway, I thought Bryan Singer could have spent his time better than just doing a special effects movie based on a really old children's fairy tale.
This is a movie for teenagers.
Okay.
And if you're a teenager, you'll like this movie, I think.
Okay. If I was a teenager, I would still find it sucked. If you're a slow-witted, easily led, thick-ankled teenager, then you'll probably enjoy this movie.
Okay, now you're putting down just everybody.
No, not everybody. No, I think our listeners have got something on the ball.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
Doesn't matter their age. They want a good movie.
They shouldn't always listen to you, though.
Well, take my opinion for what it's worth. What I get paid for.
Exactly.
So, I just want to touch on another superhero movie, The Wolverine, which Mark reviewed recently, but I hadn't seen yet. So, just briefly, directed by James Mangold, written by Mark Baumbach and Scott Frank. Frank. Stars Hugh Jackman as Logan. This is like the 5th movie, I think, he's played Wolverine.
Yeah.
The first 3
right.
X-Men, and then there was a Wolverine movie, which everybody hated, and then this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That solo Wolverine movie from before this, I saw it. I saw it in the theater, and I don't even remember anything about it. And let's not recap it now.
Okay, I won't.
But you got so in this one, Logan has been offered a chance to lose his immortality by an old World War II pal of his, Japanese guy whose life he saved. And once the Japanese work their magic on him and he can be wounded and even killed, suddenly life becomes more precious to him.
Yes.
He decides, no, hang on, I don't like having scrapes that don't heal. I don't want to use Band-Aids.
And now I can't be as brave as I usually am.
What can I do to get my power? Yeah, if I leap off a tall building now, I'll
die.
Crush myself. So, to me it was kind of it's a fun movie. I enjoyed watching it. I thought everybody was fine in it. But first, I think it's kind of reverse racism to make the Japanese out to be like magic creatures. In Japan, they're not like normal people. And I don't know, that smacks a little bit to me of
you're talking about
racism.
Millennia of mysticism and all this stuff that's written about Japanese and Chinese lore and things like that.
Well, every culture has its mysticism. And so Logan can find real working magic in Japan? Excuse me.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, why not? It's racist, and when you want a really good meal, you got to go to China because they're the only ones who know how to cook.
America and Canada, for that matter, haven't been around that long. They don't have a lot of mysticisms here, except for the shamans, the native Indian shamans.
What do you mean? We got all the European crap.
Yeah, but we get it from all angles.
Yeah.
We bring it along with us, but it's nothing that's really truly North American except for the native Indian
Mormonism.
I forgot.
Yeah, how about
I'm
that?
Sorry.
Scientology.
I forgot about that.
Mormonism, Scientology.
But those are new creations.
Yeah.
And there'll probably be more after that. So
well, anyway, I don't want to go into great detail. I thought Famke Janssen playing Jean Grey, the least interestingly named of all the X people. I thought that
Jean Grey.
I'd like to introduce you to this fellow over here who can move the earth with his mind. We call him Sam Jones.
No, okay, her name in the comic was Marvel Girl.
Oh, that is bad.
Even worse.
Marvel Girl.
I like Jean Grey better all of a sudden. And she becomes the Dark Phoenix, which is a little more sexy.
Yeah, but only in one movie.
Much more sexy.
Only in one movie.
But in the comics, she had a lot of comics, so,
Jean Grey.
But Marvel Girl?
Thank you for saving us, Miss Grey.
Yeah.
Just doesn't roll off the tongue like Wolverine. Or Superman.
Yeah, that's true. But calling her Marvel Girl is just
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. And what is that? Like, did she run around reading Marvel comics with a big M on her back?
She had this big mask on with points up above each eye, like stars.
Yeah. I haven't seen that.
In a green dress.
Yeah.
In
a cape.
She looked real sucky.
Yeah.
Then
well, so did Wolverine in the comics.
Well, yeah, he had the
get rid of his yellow outfit.
Yeah, they make a lot of jokes of that.
Yeah. There's a movie I saw recently. We'll probably be talking about it soon. And everybody's dressed in black. Everybody's constantly dressed in black. And I just thought, that's like the X-Men. That's what they decided to go with. Yeah. Dress them all in black. You can't go wrong. It matches everything.
Exactly. Any color scheme.
String of pearls or blood. Whatever you're covered in.
Yeah. Except for the yellow.
Yeah. So overall, I know Mark, you thought that it was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you think it was okay?
I thought it was fine, but, if I want to see Wolverine, I'll go back to the first X-Men movie. The second X-Men movie I didn't mind. The third one I thought was reaching a bit, and I just think they blew their wad after that second one. I think every movie they've made after that, including the one with the Lil X-Men.
Oh.
The
First Class?
Yeah, First Class. Oh, jeez. And constantly, Professor Xavier, constantly, ooh, don't touch my hair. Ooh, hair jokes.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to go bald. I mean, he knows everything. Doesn't he know he's going to go bald?
Yeah, with all his mental telepathy kind of stuff, he couldn't stop his hair from falling out.
He couldn't keep his own hair in his body.
Yeah.
And is he hairless everywhere?
Good question.
No, he's got eyebrows.
I don't think they've ever answered that in the comic book.
He's got eyebrows, so no, he couldn't be hairless everywhere.
That's the XXX-Men.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. X-Men versus Rogaine. Yeah. All right, so, I'm lukewarm on Wolverine.
It was better than the first Wolverine movie.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I agree with you. It isn't as good as the first couple X-Men movies.
Yeah. And it's just sequelitis. It's sad, but...
And come to think of it, he was in First Class for one scene.
Yeah.
When they come to recruit him, and he just tells them to F off.
F off. And that's it.
That's it.
Yeah. Easy. It looks like he's back at that same pub that he's in up in northern Canada that he was in the first movie.
Probably.
He's been sitting there
for
drinking,
a long
getting
time.
into fights.
How do you like
50 years.
How do you like northern Canada in this movie? It's like everybody is looking for trouble.
Yeah.
It's like Canadians up there just looking for trouble.
Well, that's what we do, We will not let a sleeping Wolverine lie.
No, not at all.
And I also thought it was interesting that he had, it showed you what he had before they put the metal blades into his wrist. That he just had these nasty, jagged...
Like unicorn bones.
Yeah, or horn.
Horns.
They look like antelope horn.
Yeah, that's right, unicorn horn.
Yeah.
They showed those in the first one.
I don't know, unicorn?
Because they're spiral kind of thing.
All right, they're narwhal horns.
Okay. But
they're small. I mean, they're longer than his fingers, but they're not thicker than his fingers because they got to come out between.
They showed that in the
fingers.
first Wolverine movie.
He didn't have
the adamantium until he got into Weapon X, much later on from where that movie started.
Okay, I think you might be misremembering because the very first movie, you're talking about the first X-Men movie?
Wolverine movie.
Oh, that one. Oh, okay. I told you, I was so bad that I've completely excised it from my brain.
Because that's a prequel to the X-Men movie.
I don't remember anything about that.
Well, it is it's a prequel, so
okay.
For most of the part, he had those bones.
Right.
That's when he was growing up.
Okay.
And stuff like that.
Okay, so as far as the actors go in the Wolverine, a lot of Japanese actors that I'd never seen before. Ryla Fukushima, I think, plays the sort of bodyguard to Wolverine. And she's an extraordinarily odd-looking little woman. She's got these big eyes, but they're really far apart. And I swear to God, she's part Pekingese. She's just an odd-looking little
She is
woman.
very odd, but very, the
commanding. I mean, she does a good job in this movie.
Yeah.
And it's, actually, he gets the prettier one as his love interest.
Yes.
But that the little Pekingese woman, well, perhaps she's half Chinese, half Japanese,
I don't know.
Peking.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then the big physical villain is Svetlana Kodchenkova, who plays Viper.
Yeah.
And she reminded me just a little too much of the blue-skinned gal from the first movies, from the first X-Men movies.
Oh, okay.
Her Mystique. Her powers were kind of similar, except she's got poison added. But I don't know. She didn't grab me. Thank God. So that's a Wolverine from my point of view. Now we got a movie that I was really impressed with. Little tiny low budget movie, but just one of the nastiest movies I've seen in a long time. The Seasoning House. This is a 2012 movie directed by Paul Hyatt, written by Hyatt, Connell Palmer and Adrian Rigglesford. Stars Rosie Day as Angel. She's the main character. Sean Pertwee, who's a very good Shakespearean-trained English actor, and he plays leader of yet another group of mercenaries. They would have been better off tackling Riddick, I think, than this tiny little girl. Kevin Howarth plays Victor, who is a pimp, and Anna Walton, Violetta. She plays Violetta, who is a hooker. And the deal is, this is taking place, and Mark is half Serbian, but this is more or less taking place in Serbia.
It's at a Balkan state.
Balkan state,
That's what they called it.
Goran sounds like a Serbian name.
Oh, yes, it is. There's a lot of Ivan.
Could it also be a Bosnian name?
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
Sure.
So it's on the dark side of the Balkans, definitely. It's really gruesome.
Yeah.
And it's after the horrible bloody war, which continues, and families are being wiped out, and the pretty girls at the beginning of the movie in this one little town are being rounded up, and everybody else is being murdered in front of the girls. So you have these 5 or 6 traumatized girls who are dumped in Victor's lap. He in fact was in charge of killing the village, I think, and he is a former mercenary who's quit to be a pimp.
Right.
And so he's got this rambling, rundown old house, mansion really, and he set the girls up in their own rooms, and his customers are his former comrades,
right,
including Sean Pertwee's character Goran. And these guys come in and they have no manners. They do whatever they want to do to these girls. It isn't just a wham bam thank you ma'am.
No,
it's wham 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 thank you,
and not even a thank you,
and not even a thank you. It's horrible.
They will hurt these girls.
They're not every one of them, obviously, or the girls would be dead in the first 5 minutes of the movie. But every now and then there's a lunatic shows up, and his idea of sexual fun is to mutilate, break, or even kill a woman.
Yeah.
So Angel, our little heroine,
is deaf.
She's deaf and mute, and Violetta, the one hooker that Angel is small enough that she can crawl around through this old house in the duct system. Mm-hmm. In a way that nobody knows that she's got
it's a secret to her.
She
has a route, and
so she comes to visit Violetta after she's been busted up. They'd already started to become friends, and Violetta had a deaf relative, so she knows sign language,
and that's how they become friends.
That's how they become friends, and Angel is bringing her little treats and stuff like that, and trying to look after her wounds, but a maniac has hurt Violetta to the point where her pelvis is broken.
Yeah.
And yet they're still working her.
Yeah.
And Angel comes in to Violetta's little dank room as she's being further murdered.
Yeah, the original people that tore her village apart show up at the whorehouse.
Right. So she's got many reasons to. Yeah. So she
knows these people personally.
Yeah. They killed her mom right in front of her.
Yeah. So that's why she's protective over the Violetta as well. She knows that person.
So she single-handedly, with just a little knife, she takes on
this huge guy,
one of the biggest men I've ever seen in a movie, and he's buck naked, which is interesting. But the two of them have like a real knockdown, bloody fight. If she hadn't got a couple of good shots in early, she could never have withstood this guy, because at one point he does have hold of her, but she just keeps cutting and cutting and cutting.
Yeah, and he becomes weaker and weaker.
Yeah, weaker and weaker from blood loss, I assume, because cutting doesn't seem to hurt him. But it is, oh my God, it is such a bloody movie, and right through to halfway, I was thinking, my God, are they going to make this little deaf girl, are they going to turn her into a Rambo, and she's going to kill all the bad guys? And I thought, they can't. But then sure enough, they do. And I don't think I'm giving too much away here, because you expect something like this.
Yeah, the first half.
But the way she does it is really, really clever.
The first half of this movie is so depressing.
Yeah.
Because it's really the setup for the second half.
Yeah, it's just how awful is these girls' lives.
The lives of it. Yeah. It's like this. It goes through how she has to go and clean up after.
Yeah, because she's little and deaf. The Victor, the pimp, has sort of he's twisted, of course. He believes that he's in love with her and that she's in love with him, and so he keeps her pure, like he doesn't work her as a prostitute because she's special to him. Well, the only thing that's special is that she gets to do all the crap jobs.
Right. Literally. And the first half of this movie is her day-to-day ritual. And she doesn't want to know the other prostitutes.
No. Well, she can't.
I can't even call them prostitutes. I can call them slaves.
Yeah, they're slaves, but she can't talk to them. So there's no point trying to.
Yeah, but she doesn't want to look them in the eye. No, she doesn't want to have any kind of interaction with them. She basically is there to clean up after the men and make sure that the girls are drugged up.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
And there's also, I should mention, there's a old doctor who seems like, Geppetto. He's such a kindly old soul.
Well, you mentioned Geppetto, but you know what he has under his pillow?
I don't remember.
In the Disney movie,
Geppetto.
What does Geppetto have under his pillow?
Well, I could guess a wooden dildo, but that wouldn't make sense.
No,
I don't know.
He has a gun.
He does?
He has
Geppetto
a gun.
has a gun?
Yeah.
Like a pistol?
Yeah. Kindly
in the
old
Disney
Geppetto.
movie?
Yeah. Go look, folks.
For shooting termites?
No, when he hears somebody in the toy room, he's sleeping, he reaches under his pillow and brings out a gun.
Oh, he's American, of course, so, Pinocchio may be set in some semi-Italian world, but he is American. So there you go. Americans and their handguns.
Kindly old Geppetto.
Yeah. So, of course, Angel, because she knows the house intimately, once she starts taking revenge, she's able to escape them, but they send their skinniest little guy, who's just a kid himself. They send him up into the
they break a hole open and then send him into the walls.
Yeah. And then he's just easy pickings for her because she knows the place, he doesn't. And then she gets outside. She's already figured out a way to escape, and she does, and the mercenaries follow her outside.
They were kind of they're kind of ridiculous.
Oh, they're stupid.
For seasoned mercenaries, they're pretty stupid.
Their behavior reminded me of the stupid behavior of the mercenaries in 28 Days Later, where once they understand that the young man they've rescued, the hero of 28 Days Later, has escaped, a couple of them just go running out after him. I mean, they're absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
You just wouldn't do that. Not if you had your crap together.
I find that mercenaries, even in the Riddick movie, they did dumb things.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's like...
The first group of mercenaries are a real bunch of dirty bums, and the more professional ones show up.
Yeah.
Under Boss Johns, and John says, hey, let's work together.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea what a badass this guy is?
Yeah.
Oh, no problem. We were here first. You shut up and stay out of our way. We'll do this, and we're not sharing the bounty.
Yeah.
And 3 of his men die that first night.
Yeah.
And John says, hey, you just have to ask.
Yeah. It just seems like mercenaries, for their chosen profession can be pretty stupid.
Well, they're there to die.
Yeah.
That's what these
well,
movies
in Riddick,
are about.
but even in this movie, they do stupid things.
Oh, they don't
think
smart.
very well.
No. I would really recommend it. As depressing as it was also a really good, well-made little movie.
The ending I was kind of disappointed in.
Were you?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Don't want to give that away. But yeah.
Why is it they always have to do stupid things?
I know. It got kind of... Well,
there was a couple movies we're going to review in the next little while that did that.
Yeah.
And it just bothers me.
Yeah.
It's a cheap, thing.
It reminds me of, the Saw movies. Is there no hope? Is there no goodness in the world? Yeah. And I know Roger Ebert used to talk about that, and it's just, these movies where there is never any saving grace. Like it's just, let's see people die. Yeah. And that's it. Anyway, let's talk very briefly about Under the Dome, because we talked about that a few weeks ago. Mark and I have continued to watch, based on Stephen King's novel, created for TV by Brian K. Vaughan, but from everybody who's read the book tells me this is nothing like the book. The only thing they've kept are character names and a dome over Chester's Mill. Well, and other than the fact that you really think that the egg is from an alien thing. Right, the little egg that the kids found at the center of the dome. And strangely enough, they can move, It's like... They can pick it up and move it. Yeah. Yeah, well, I thought that was just a little dome. No, I just thought it was strange. You'd think that, if it's exactly in the center of the dome, that it was kind of like positioned there for some reason, and then they just go up and pick it up and move it. Well, they didn't just do it. The boy did it, and he doesn't remember doing it. Yeah, I know, but at the same time, how did he do it? Yeah. He's like, did he put it in his little wagon? I suppose he borrowed a car or something. I don't know. You know what gets me about this town under the dome, Chester's Mill? God. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Now there's like a major lake. Yeah. At least a part of a major lake. And it actually looks like, you can't see the other end of the lake. It's huge. Yeah. So what I was thinking, what they could do is like, we're in trouble. We're running out of food. We've run out of medicine. We need help. What we ought to do is head to the big town just over the hill under the dome. Yeah. What is that, Boston? Chicago? They're bound to have more supplies. Yeah. I mean, it's really, the dome just keeps expanding. It's like the island of Lost in Lost, right? It just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger for what they need. Yes. There's another island. Oh, yeah. I just thought it was so dumb. They say, in the last episode, they said 9 days they've been under the dome, and already it's Fight Club. Yeah. I know. Yeah. It's monstrous. Yeah. It's like, what the hell? Yeah. This is what they do for fun in the old country. All out bare knuckle boxing until... And people are willing to give their food and their precious commodities to watch two people sock it out. Beat each other to death. Yeah, you look, they've got the same entertainment going on in the zombie series, The Walking Dead. Yeah. In that horrible town run by the governor. Yeah. But we know that the zombie plague has been going on for over a year. Yeah. So, but this is 9 days. This is a week and a half, and I tell you, I haven't seen blood spurt from another guy's nose. Let's go out to the old concrete factory and have some fun. I laughed with that. Vices. What kind of this woman is going to supply for the vices? Yeah. And it's like, my God, here they are wondering if they're going to survive till tomorrow. Yeah. And they've got to have their vices satiated. Their booze and their hookers and their fighting. What the hell are they thinking? Also, I mean, I don't see any stills being put up. If she's going to continue to control the booze, she better start making some. Yeah. Because a little town like that, you could drink up all the booze in that town in a week. And it doesn't take long. With a still, you can create liquor quite easily. Exactly. I mean, as long as they have fruit trees and hops. Oh, hell, do it with grapes, potatoes, anything. Turnips, dandelions. Yeah, exactly. It's like, you name it, they can make alcohol from it. And why bother, trying to... I wonder if you could use clover. I wonder if you could get a nice drink out of clover. Anybody out there know? Send us a line. Send us a line. Send us a recipe. Because obviously you got a lot of clover in your yard. Yeah, that's right. We got a bit. So, let's see, we got Mike Vogel plays Barbie. Rachel Lefevre as the luscious redhead Julia Shumway. Dean Norris, who's just wrapping up his character. 3 more episodes of Breaking Bad. Just love that show. I'm going to be really sorry to see it go. Dean Norris playing Big Jim Rennie, who is a counselor, and evidently
not a counselor like a kid's counselor. No, a counselor like city counselor. Yeah.
But it's a town. It's not even a city. So how many counselors did they have?
He kills somebody every episode.
Oh, he's monstrous. And his son Junior, who in the book is basically a homicidal maniac.
Yeah.
In this, he's a homicidal maniac, but he may have good intentions.
Yes, and the egg wants him for some reason.
Yeah, he's one of the 4 that the egg wants to communicate with.
Yeah.
Or use to communicate.
It's funny because with that character, I feel sometimes I have sympathy for the characters, and other times I just want him to, off himself. Yeah. Go off yourself. Yeah. I have no patience for you whatsoever.
He's truly like a dual personality.
Yeah, and I kudos to the actor who's doing the part, because he really pulls it off. He is like this mental.
Yeah. And then he can be sweet as
he
pie.
can do something right.
Yeah.
He can do something nice, but at the same time, the next second he's going to shoot you. Shoot somebody in cold blood.
I'm wondering now, I think it's the first episode, he kidnaps, what's her name? Britt Robertson plays Angie McAllister, and her brother Colin Ford, Joe, is played by Colin Ford. So Junior kidnaps Angie and chains her in his family's fallout shelter.
Yeah.
And now I'm wondering, well, maybe he did do it for her own good.
Yeah, well, that was the point. There was this conversation they had, and all these pink stars and everything. And I'm going, well, maybe subconsciously he was doing the right thing.
Because his mom was crazy and knew that all this stuff was going to happen long before she died.
Yeah.
And he's just like his mom.
Yeah.
So he's crazy too. Or is he? Is he just cursed with some sort of gift to communicate with?
Maybe he has no choice of what he's doing.
Exactly.
Maybe the egg is controlling him in some way.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what's going to go on with that character, because sometimes I want to kill him, and sometimes I'm going, well, maybe he's integral here.
I also find it a little odd that when all the law enforcement people have been killed, with the exception of Sheriff Linda, played by Natalie Martinez, everybody's gone except this one deputy, Linda, who now becomes the de facto sheriff.
Yeah.
The best person she could find as deputy was Junior? Really?
I don't think that I think he was pushed on her by his father.
Big Jim? Well,
Big Jim.
That's his maybe. She could still can his ass.
Well, sure, but then he's psycho, so you want to keep on his good side.
It's very odd. We should mention, since we're talking so much about him, Junior Rennie is played by Alexander Kosh.
Yeah.
He's doing a good job. Okay, and then mention the one other actor who's integral and the 4th member of the kids club. Mackenzie Lintz is playing Nori.
Yeah.
And she's doing a good job.
So at this point,
everybody's competent. I find it slow. I find it should be moving along a little faster.
Well, I just think it's just so weird. The population of that town is just the weirdest bunch of people.
Yeah.
I mean, this is rural America. They should be supporting one another. They should be nice. But it seems like they have
one guy with water.
Evil.
One guy with water had to be murdered. In order to share his water.
Yeah. And Big Jim, anybody who crosses him is dead.
Yeah.
It's like, my God. And now he's framed Barbie for everything.
For
everything.
Yeah.
He's on the radio telling everybody.
Well, he got framed in Breaking Bad, so he's
taking it out on someone else.
Yeah.
I just think it's so funny.
Well, it reminded me, and I was hoping it would be more along the lines of Lost, and even going back as far as Twin Peaks.
Right.
But the difference between Twin Peaks and Lost and this show...
come on, Twin Peaks is nothing like anything.
Yeah, no, but my point is that those two series, Lost and Twin Peaks, they had a really well sketched out, fully written first season. This movie started as 8 episodes, and now it's up to 13, and they're looking at a second season, and God knows how many seasons after that. They don't seem to have figured out what to do their first season.
Right.
So to me, there's smacks of little amateurism, a little we'll just fake it, Walking Dead as well. Walking Dead as well. The first season of Walking Dead, they knew what they were doing.
Right.
It starts getting trickier with the second season, although they had the comics to sort of stray from.
Yeah.
But if you don't have it figured out to begin with, it's not going to hold together. And I don't know. I continue to watch Under the Dome because there's nothing on at 10 o'clock Monday night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's very strange.
And we can talk about it here.
Yeah, I watch it, and at the same time going, this is so stupid.
Yeah.
At the same time, I'm going, okay, let's see where it goes.
Yeah, I know.
What's next?
It's like a tooth that you keep bothering.
Yeah, exactly.
You keep going back to it.
Yeah, you go, well, okay, it is kind of interesting. I don't know what's coming next.
Yeah.
I'd like to know what's coming next, but this is so stupid.
But it's aggravating.
It's it's very weird.
Like hearing news from somebody who stammers. And you really want to hear what they have to say,
but at the same time,
taking forever.
Yeah.
Sorry, all you stammerers out there. I've been known to stammer myself. So I think we're going to wrap it up. We're closing in on the 60-minute mark here, and so let's just recap. Riddick, we both liked.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Jack the Giant Slayer, I despised, but Mark thought it was okay for kids.
Yep.
The Wolverine, lukewarm on it myself.
Yeah, I would say it's the better of the two Wolverine movies, but at the same time, it's not a fantastic movie.
That is called damning with faint praise.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah. Seasoning House, I really recommend it, but bear in mind it is grim as heck.
Yeah, it's not for the lighthearted, that's for sure.
Yeah, but you'd recommend it.
For a more mature audience.
Yeah. Horror fans, and it's not a goofy horror. It's a realistic.
It's a horrific
horror
movie.
Yeah.
It's not horror.
Oh, it's horror. It's horror, but it's along the lines of a revenge.
Yeah.
Revenge horror.
It's not. There's no zombies.
Yeah. And Under the Dome, we just said we're going to continue to watch it, but hope it gets better.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping there's a payoff there.
At least for the season.
Yeah. Well, like you said, they don't have it mapped out because they didn't expect to go this long for this season.
Probably not.
Yeah, so they are making it up as they go.
Yeah.
So that maybe that's why they say, okay, let's have a fight club.
Yeah. Plus the original idea, from what I understand, the novel has got a good story. If they'd made an 8-episode version of the novel, that probably would have been the smartest thing to do. But for some reason, no, we're going to change it entirely. Everything is changed except the dome and the character
Of course, they do
names. That
all the time with novels. I mean, some of them is just the title they're using, and they changed the whole story of the book. Why even bother making, saying it's part of this book if they totally changed the story?
That's my point. They should have stuck with the story. All right, so that's it. We'll be back with another episode next week. We'll be talking about Elysium and R.I.P.D. and maybe just speculate on The Walking Dead, which is restarting pretty soon.
Yeah. Well, it's about time something good started.
Season 4.